TikTok live. No. So what's up, everyone? Good Saturday afternoon, evening and night, morning for some people. Yeah, today I wanted to talk because I finally, I got the new Starforge PC set up, and I'm gonna talk about some of the things I've experienced with it so far, using it, and talk about my game collection, a little bit about how I decided which games I want to play. Most of them are just considered popular, and I have a wide variety of games, everything from first-person shooters, RTS, puzzle games, card games, old school arcade style games, RPG, ARPG. So I just have the wide variety, and there's even a couple MOBAs in here. For some reason, I don't have League of Legends downloaded, but probably get it on here soon. I'm actually still downloading games now. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit is, how I decide which games, because some people just see a game, and I can bring up an example. Marvel Rivals, for instance, right? So this game looks like, I'm a big Marvel fan, right? So immediately, I'm drawn to it because it brings nostalgia from, Marvel comic days, and there's a lot of really good, interesting artwork and stuff like that. But then I have to think about, the style of game it's based off of, what company's producing the game specifically, and where I fit into playing the game in accordance with streaming. And one of the benefits of doing some early research on games is that you won't buy a game that you don't like, right? Because there still will be systems of the game that you don't understand from watching videos. Like just for instance, I'll humor the game and we'll watch it for a second, even though I know this is, I'll talk about that too. So NetEase is a mobile company. They started out making mobile games. Now they're kind of moving to the PC genre, and this is kind of an Unreal Engine 4 reskin of Overwatch, with a few differences, right? Slightly indestructible environments, character synergy attacks, so you can combine your attack with someone else's attack, and they're really playing off the Marvel nostalgia. But if you look here, we see the aimers are kind of clunky, character movement is kind of floaty, so you'll really have to have a really in-tight movement or DPI setting in order to really do a lot. And then you don't get that freedom, that quick feeling that you get from, let's say, the movement on Apex Legends. So you can't just snap aim, and this is really a lane induced game. This is kind of more of a MOBA / third person shooter. And characters will have alternates and stuff like that. But this is what I'm saying, though. So when I look at this, I'm really trying to not fall into just the nostalgia of being a Marvel fan and being well, it's Marvel, I'm just gonna get it. It's do I really play a lot of Overwatch? No. I have Overwatch, I saw Overwatch, and I'm sure a lot of Overwatch fans are really excited to move on from, Jesus, a bunch of drunk people outside my door. Trying to move on from the Overwatch disaster that kind of happened with the game. It just kind of fell off, the esports was canceled, all these different things happened, so it kind of lost its excitement. Um, and that's just one example of just like looking at the games, right? A very similar thing happened with let's see. So Battlefront 2 was another one. Let me bring up Steam. And like I barely even played any of Battlefront because of where the hell is it even at? Maybe I can just find it in here. So this game was a disaster at launch, right? I was really excited to play it. A lot of people were really excited to play it. Some of the things that were early warning signs I didn't really pay attention to, and this is a classic example of like just bought for nostalgia. So, so this is a good example of what not to do. When the game launched, you could not make a personal server. The controller scheme was messed up. Backwards, or didn't have certain inputs that you could do. The view, like the function of the views were messed up, and a lot of people couldn't even play the game. And it was really just a sad state of the game, and I don't actually even know how good it's doing right now. So like, let's see. Jesus. Is that my fault? I gotta separate it. Classic collection. Sorry about the ads along the bottom. I really can't like. There we go. I can't cancel them early. 53 people playing 35 minutes ago. The all-time peak of the game was 528 players total, right? Like this game has had a massive drop. So let's see the last 3 months. So like it never really even got off the ground because of how shitty the game was. Very unfortunate because this game was sought after. A lot of people really wanted to play this game, and you see this happen a lot where these AAA gaming companies are really just trying to bank on your nostalgia and wanting to buy the game and don't really care whether or not the game functions, especially being port. But literally it's had zero gain. The peak players in the last 30 days was 119. Like that's 3 lobbies, of 32 players. That's really bad for a game. So this is just one more place that you can kind of check and see where things are going. Like some people are like, oh, I want to buy the game and play it right away. And if you're a streamer and you're doing that for content, then that's perfect because a game like this will give you tons of content about how this game does not work, and do not freaking buy it. And you can let all of your viewers know that this game is not one that you would want to spend your money on. But the bad part is, even as a streamer, you would be throwing away this money. Could be good for content, could be good for YouTube views if you make clips like, oh my god, what is this? Like, how does this showing your controller and how the movement works would be funny. I mean, there's lots of things you could do with this. But yeah, so those are just some examples of like how to do a little bit of work ahead of time to save yourself some frustration from getting a bad game. On the other hand, there are lots of games that are really, really good that are underrated that people don't play as much, right? People absolutely love fighting games. if you're a fighting game player, you play fighting games all the time. Now, there are two different types of fighting games. I like to call them classic and modern, right? And we'll take this kind of like a step from Street Fighter, where like you have people who are really into classic, where they want all of the options for the techniques to be absolutely manual, where, you know, they want dragon punch or, you know, quarter circle movement with the analog stick plus a weapon or a fighting input such as like punch or kick or whatever. Same with charge techniques, holding down or holding forward or back before you actually release and then hit the attack button to do a technique. So these are just some of the things that people love about the classic style. And then you have the more modern, more kind of casual. It's kind of hard to even call it casual because Smash Brothers was so huge, and the tournaments like still to this day are like people are there grinding this game, and and I believe they're still making characters for the game, which is just insane to come up with another character and 2 buttons worth of movesets. But there are some other options in there that are very similar to those. You'll see them on mobile a lot. And I won't go over a whole ton of them because there's just a couple good examples where it's like really solid. I believe you have a game called Brawl, which a lot of people love Brawl. I don't know if that so much fits into the fighting game category, whereas you have another game that's kind of more sufficient for what a fighting game is, where it takes a little bit of skill and there's some a little bit of skill, and there's some other aspects to the game that are a little bit more difficult, where you need to build up, character level, and you want to include what kind of like special skills you have for your character. And so there's a little bit more to it than a Smash Brothers, but still really fits in the genre fighting games really, really well. And encompasses a lot of nostalgia at the same time, right? We can see all the characters that are included in multiverses, and I mean, you even have some that are not specifically just Cartoon Network characters, right? Like you got Gizmo here. Well, most of these other ones are, except for maybe Batman, Iron Giant, LeBron James. But yeah, and then you even have like, still some DC comic characters, and then, mixed in there with all the Cartoon Network characters. And then you even got like Marvin the Martian and Stripe. So like, but the fun part about this game is the mix-ups, the different techniques people use to do things, the character combinations for team fights, the stages with all the different breakable environments and different things. So this game really falls into the fighting game category, at least for me, and I love playing it, honestly. I don't play it as much. And as a matter of fact, some of the games that are fighting games, even though I really, after my Sega Genesis era, was playing more arcade-style games, such as the Guilty Gear, XX, and then, Soul Calibur and Street Fighter. Once I moved on from those games is when I kind of started to enjoy the more modern style fighting games, such as like Smash Brothers and Multiverses. But yeah, to be honest, I haven't had much time to really even be playing the fighting games that I have. Actually, let me do collections and just do fighting games. So I don't have a super huge collection of fighting games, but the quality of these fighting games is probably top, right? I don't have Mortal Kombat. I don't have old school games, like I don't do ROMs, so I don't have like Shaq Fu, which is kind of like a quirky game. I don't have the Fightcade, where I have like all of the old school fighting games, but I do have what I feel is like the quintessential bunch of fighting games for me, and they're all fairly recent AAA titles as well. So like, these are the newest, most updated versions of the games that I once used to love to play. Like Street Fighter, I love Third Strike, I love Turbo 2. Tekken. I love Tekken 2, Tekken Tag. So it was just made sense for me to get Tekken 8. But if I was to show you, I have absolutely 0 minutes playing this game. You can see right here on the screen. I have 0 minutes playing this game. Although Street Fighter, I got 17 hours, I got 3 hours, I got 7 hours here, I got 45 minutes playing that, I got 52 minutes playing that. So like I played all of them a little bit when I first got them, but honestly, like overall, since I'm a multi-streamer, I kind of just bounce around to whatever I feel like that day. So those are kind of like fighting style generals that you need to remember. Do your research, look at what kind of games you like, realize whether you're going to try and play more casual modern games or whether you're going to like dive all the way back into classic style games where you're forced to put in a lot of inputs. There's a lot of like guard cancels, wake up stuff, and trying to remember the frames, whether you're at plus frames or negative frames or whatever, so that way you're staying within your combo bounds. And then also too, knowing what other people's combos are, so that way when they drop their combos that you can pick it up, or knowing when your turn is, so that way when you're blocking you can go ahead and stop blocking and go ahead and go into whatever combination you'd like to use. I have some of these. The funny thing is I put a lot of things in first-person shooter that are not even first-person shooter. Just because I consider all shooter games, I should have just put shooters in general, because I have so many of them, it's ridiculous, right? But let's go along with some of these first. Like arcade-style games. Dude, arcade-style games are beloved by everyone. I think one of the greatest things that like PCs really brought to everyone that most people don't realize or take advantage of is like, let me grab this right here real quick. So nowadays you can get your own sticks and pads, and you can get a USB dongle or connect, multi-tap, plug it into your computer, and you can have 4 to 6 friends playing arcade games, and Steam has a ton of them. And then on top of that, other games are re-releasing. Like I think I saw Double Dragon releasing stuff, Contra releasing stuff. So these multiplayer games where you want that arcade nostalgia, you can get it from those. And they really are redoing collections to where they're significantly more advanced than they were in the past, where like you get the basics of the old school style side scroller games that you would love from way back in the day. Like, I mean, this is somebody's playthrough. Oops. So you get like all of some collections like in one video game for, not a terrible price. And you get a lot of value out of this, right? Because this game has, I forget how many games in it. I know it has like the original Nintendo games. It has the Super Nintendo games. It has the fighting games. So you got like the full value. And I remember like the very first day I had it, I'm like, dude, I'm beating Turtles in Time for the first time in like 15 years. So I went and played Turtles in Time for the first time in like 15 years. And me and my girlfriend played through a good portion of those games. And then, to move back to, oh my gosh, it's going to send me all the way back. To move back to this, there are updated versions now of these kind of style games where they've redone the animations, and they've done a really, really, really good job of making it. Let me make sure this is muted. Okay, they've done a really, really good job of making sure that there's some replayability there, and that you're not playing alone either. Like, there's online multiplayer these days, and other people can join randomly, and it's just a lot of fun to complete the game. And then there are items inside the game that you can get to unlock new characters you didn't have before, to make it kind of worth replaying. And then there are collection items as well that give you other bonuses in games for your stats, and your characters can level up. And I thought this was a really good like reiteration of a lot of the classic style arcade games, um, and was just a really really fun just playthrough. And it's kind of sad because we did have games that did have like savable abilities, right? Like we had Soul Calibur 4, which is kind of new era. I mean, I can't remember when it came through, but you could save your multiplayer character in the machine, the specific arcade machine that you played in, and it would stay there all the time. Yeah, and so it was really cool to see, and your character would fight other people when they came to the arcade. There would be like a separate stage, like almost like a bonus stage, where they would be fighting your specific character, and you can level up on that. So like I really enjoyed that part of it. And then there were games like Gauntlet, which also, you put in like a password and it would bring up your character. But yeah, these style arcade games were really great. I really enjoyed playing through Shredder, and I probably will play it some more in the future because there are just things that I didn't unlock, and it would be cool to just continue to get value out of that. Or maybe I have friends over, and like some people are watching TV and other people are playing video games. And then you have like the Scott Pilgrim style game is very similar, but just bringing in the nostalgia of like movies and comics from a different section of the multiverse, if you want to call it that. But yeah, like this was a fun fighting game, has lots of bosses, has different things, secret areas, little stores and shops you can go in to buy items, and just like quirky animations with really cool boss fights and different things. But yeah, there are tons of these style of games that really just give you a lot of value for the game you're buying, that are worth it. And then there are what I like to call arcade style games that are not necessarily what you would find in an arcade, but are really fun in their own right, like the Jet Set Radio Future type games where it's stylized animations and just a lot of fun to just kind of like free flow, skate, bike, rollerblade. And for me, the most nostalgic part of this whole setup was the graffiti, right? The cool different graffiti you're putting all over the place in it. Like when I was young, I used to do graffiti, so it's a lot of fun to see a game that like stylizes doing graffiti and like using it as a weapon to destroy like this cyber race that takes over. And there's like a really fun storyline and some cool interesting like stages in there, and it just something different, right? Just something to mix up the game collection a little bit and give you an opportunity to try something different. Or the free ones. Yeah. I paid a lot for all my games. And some games, like, it's so crazy, I haven't even played. There are 0 hours, 0 minutes on all of these on this bottom side of the collection down here. And then some I have put very little time in because literally I could not ever play them with the laptop that I had. But now that I got this new PC here, we're going to go ahead and start running through some of these and finishing them up, or trying to play them a little bit more and at least get through like the story modes and maybe try some multiplayer if it's still available. Most of these still have multiplayer. But yeah. Then what did I do? Arcade. Okay, so puzzle and card games. There are a lot of these nowadays. Most of them are kind of plug and play. They're fun. You got like Hearthstone, you have Marvel Snap, you have Puzzle Quest. A lot of these are available on your phones. I'm a big Warhammer 40k fan, so I really like the Warp Forge. Although they do play into trying to make you pay money. This actually, for the first time in a long time, seeing Warhammer come out of their we need money for everything bubble and just kind of give you some free cards to play with. Maybe not the best ones, but some different things and different setups you can use. And you can win in this game without paying any money, which I really enjoy. And then you have Magic the Gathering, which is a classic card game. There are lots of other card games too, like you got Pokemon, TCG, and then you have a bunch of other random ones that are like, I can't even remember the names of them. And then you have like poker and blackjack and different betting card games. I really don't play the betting card games so much. I know how to play. I do enjoy playing it. It is fun to sit around with a bunch of people and try to outwit them with bidding and bluffing. And when I have a good hand, I can downplay having a good hand and try to make some money. But it is not something that I really put forward a lot of effort into. Lately, I like to play games for fun. I do the streaming for fun. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money. It would be cool to have a lot of viewers and make money, but that's not what I'm really here doing. So my other we did fighting games, flight sims. This is just a personal passion, right? Flight sims are very technical games. Unfortunately, they soak up a lot of time. This actually War of Thunder acts more as like a MMO RPG than it does a war game, but there is a lot of sim style aspects to the game. Star Wars Squadrons, I've played a little bit of this game. I kind of like how the storyline and graphics are going so far, but I haven't really made it that far into the game to really talk about it. I would just say whenever you're focusing on these games, just realize that you're going to dump a ton of money into any of the higher quality flight simulators such as DCS or Sturmovik, or stuff where you'll probably have to buy flight models specifically. Like I know in War Thunder, for some of the top tier jets that are premium, you're spending $80. Same with DCS. If you want to fly the AH-64 helicopter, you're going to be paying $80 for that flight model. The only thing is I think you're getting more for your buck out of getting the DCS flight model versus getting the War Thunder flight model, because you can get them for free for grinding over time. But you can see here that I have 215 hours in the game, and I have probably 4 or 5 jets. So don't think that right away as soon as you play the game you're going to get a jet. It is going to take a very long time before you can fly a jet, and I think it's to kind of build you up to being able to fly it. But there is a big skill gap between flying the biplanes of World War I to flying the super prop planes from World War II to jets of Cold War era. And then beyond too, right? Because I think now they pretty much made it to Desert Storm at this point. Ace Combat 7 is more arcadey style flight sim game. A lot of fun, weird storyline, but I really liked it. I like the way they do the upgrade systems. So you actually have to play quite a bit to get to another stage. I think they did that so the PvP aspect of the game is kind of locked, so you can't just have everything right off the bat. Really fun games. I love flight sim games. I don't have like the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I don't have some of the other ones like VTOL VR and stuff like that. I haven't thought about getting a VR setup. I don't feel like I need a VR setup. VR seems really cool, but I feel like that's a niche that I just really don't want to branch off into, considering it's a lot of money and like I'm just doing this as a hobby for fun. Let's see here. Alright, shooters. I mean, I could probably go on all day about shooters. The biggest thing about shooters is by the time you fall in love with the game and get really good at it, there'll be a new one. So just keep that in mind. When you're buying shooters, you're going to dump a lot of money into games, probably $60 every 4 months. And the funny thing is the free ones like Apex Legends and Fortnite are still really good games. There are a lot of cheaters, and I don't say that because I get my ass kicked. You can look at my kill to death in either game and realize that I'm not really getting killed as much as some other people are. But I will say that it is highly noticeable to be on your TikTok, on your Facebook, on your YouTube, and see someone obviously using like the Cronus or the Zen to absolutely destroy people at long range with no playability whatsoever. Like they're just running. Also people that have like wall hacks or sensors where they can see exactly how far away you are and where you are in accordance to their character. Like that is insane to me. But anyways, beyond that, there are lots of different types of shooting games. You got third person, you got first person, you got top down, you got strategy, you have like role play, you have sim, you have so there are an absolute ton. And if you like first person games, there's even like medieval style first person games, so you can just go ham. There are robots, there are zombies, there are war games, there are futuristic, new age, old school, like you name it, and it's probably there, which makes this a very versatile set. And a lot of us are kind of ingrained at a very early age to like really cool loud things and explosions and the adrenaline of like, oh, am I gonna make this run from one building to the next? Can I hit this person from long range with this sniper rifle? Like, so these games can be a lot of fun. I've found that definitely do your research on them, because they are all very, very, very different. You could have two very sim-like games, such as Squad, Operation Harsh Doorstop, and Arma 3, and then like an Arma Reforger. And these games are all considered sim games, but they are not alike. Arma 3 is not like Arma Reforger. Arma Reforger is not like Squad. Squad is not like Arma 3. Arma 3 is not like Operation Harsh Doorstop. These games have all very, very different control setups, different schemes, different ways that you operate the vehicles, different ways to build things, move things around, mod. There's just so many different aspects to the game that you really have to look into what you're buying when it comes to sim shooter games. What's up, Teresa? What? Well, let me chat my own thing. But yeah, there's really such a wide variety. You got arcade shooters, which is kind of what Star Wars and Battlefront are. Same with the Call of Duty. Call of Duty kind of falls into the arcade shooter category. You have some modes that are not arcade shooter category, which is very interesting to talk about. You got like Call of Duty, you have like the plant the bomb mode. Forget what the fuck they call it. I hardly play Call of Duty anymore, but I think it's sabotage maybe. But yeah, like one life modes are not really considered arcade style shooters. Anything where you respawn and you're just back in the game, that's an arcade shooter. So things like Squad are kind of arcade shooters sims. Like Division's an arcade shooter. And the thing is, when you start mixing in the genres too, like this kind of falls into an arcade shooter MMO vibe, because you like level up your stuff and you get new suits and you blah blah blah. When you get into those kind of games, it's just good to see that there's this huge mix of what you can do with these like shooter style games. I could go on all day, so I'm just gonna move on. MOBA. Lately, these have become extremely popular. You have League of Legends, you have Dota 2, which I don't know why Dota 2 is not on here. Is this finished yet? Not even close. Okay, so MOBA games are lane style games, normally with 3 lanes, and then there's like a center portion of the map on your side and a center portion of the map on their side, and those are considered jungles. So they're normally 4-player games. Sometimes you see 5 because of support. So you have a wide variety of MOBAs that have come out these days. You got Pokemon Unite, League of Legends, Dota, Smite. On like mobile, you have like Mobile Legends, Bang Bang. You have a wide variety of different ones to choose from, and reskins of different things, right? Like I think I saw a Marvel style MOBA. I haven't seen it in a while, but they are definitely trying a lot of different things out to see what will work. All of the games are very similar. The speed at which they play are different. and the skill gap of people who understand how the gear works, how to level up, and how to actually use the lanes for what they are. Thanks for all the chats, man. I appreciate it. Star Wars Jedi Knight. Actually, I don't think I got there yet. I think those are in the RPG section, which I'm about to probably hit. But yeah, these games can be a lot of fun. A lot of times, though, what happens is there's like one specific character that's brand new, and if you have it, it's overpowered, and then if you don't have it, then you're just a normal player. And then 2 weeks after that, they'll put out a new character, and it'll be overpowered again. So it's kind of like that same vibe. Also, MOBA algorithms for wins and losses are just insane. Like, I don't know how they decide what to do with that. RPGs, this is another one where you can find just a absolute, shit show mix of different types of games. Everything down to like, cutesy little cartoon style ones to more realistic realism style, and across the board, like medieval times all the way to now, and even futuristic or fantasy style ones as well. These games are fun because they allow you to play. Most of them are like single player games, not all of them, right? You have RPGs and then you have MMORPGs. So we'll go with RPGs first, right? You have some very interesting choices when it comes to RPGs, just because you have so many different styles and genres of RPGs. You got ARPGs, you got MMORPGs, you have old school style, like single player, and then you have, what do they call these nowadays? Another Crab's Treasure is a Souls-like. There you go, Souls-like. Souls-like, and you have now these kind of games are becoming popular, where it's like monster capture RPGs, and then you have like story-driven sandbox. So like you have all these different things. Like Mountain Banner Lord is more like a story-driven and sandbox mixed together. But yeah, you have a wide variety of choices. The most popular one for many years was World of Warcraft, simply because it was an open world that you could travel in and didn't really have any loading screens. And that was like the very first time in a long time that you could have like a lot of people in one area of the world all doing the same thing, all fighting the same boss, and it was really cool experience if you were in the in crowd. Earthworm Jim, yeah, Earthworm Jim's pretty legit. Sega Genesis, man. And then you I could go on about that too. Boogerman, a pick and a flick adventure, and then you had like it's some other good games on Genesis too, like Toe Jam and Earl, Sonic, crazy games. You were saying earlier Star Wars Jedi Knight, but nowadays they have this game that's been out for a little while, The Old Republic, and this is pretty like a popular online RPG where like you get a ship and you get to choose whether you want to be a Jedi or a Sith. Yeah, old school for real. Toe Jam and Earl is old. But yeah, I've played through some of this game. I have some time on it. I need to go back to it actually, because there's a lot of the game that I still didn't get to yet. And I'm having fun on my little bounty hunter character, just lifes, So, but yeah, these style RPGs incorporate nostalgia, and since this is an MMO, you can play with your friends online, and it's a lot of fun. I'm excited to get to try my new PC on it, right? So, what else did I want to talk about? Innovation in RPG games over time, probably. Because they did start out fairly small. I feel like the innovation has come a long way, whereas before we were doing an old school style game was like Champion of Norath. So we had like console RPGs, like ARPGs, and then we branched off into like a Lost Ark style MMO ARPG, which is, I would normally use Diablo 2 as the most updated version of ARPG, but it absolutely tanked in sales, and they're trying to say just now that their game has gotten better, and with the Hellgate system, I really don't think that it's that much better. But Lost Ark, for me, literally this game will give you 100 hours of content and does a lot of really interesting, innovative things. The graphics are good, the characters are fun to play. There is a little bit of skills challenge when it comes to understanding how the items work and leveling up. But once you start to get the hang of it, the game's a lot of fun, and it offers a lot of value. There's a lot of areas, a lot of bosses, and a lot of group content like raiding and stuff like that. I will eventually play some of this game. I think I need to switch over to a new server because the server I once played on is probably gone. But they have a lot of really fun systems in this game. There is PvP. It's not one of the best PvPs I've ever played, but it adds another aspect to the game. But the innovation in this game is really why I picked Lost Ark as the ARPG MMO, because we came from like Champions of Norath and Diablo on computer to large style MMOs that offer, different areas, like the terrain changes to vertical in some instances. There are lots of like really flashy raid bosses, and it's lots of fun to like learn how to maneuver the character around to use your specials and stuff like that. And then kind of creating your own story, but within a sandbox of controlled stories like a Skyrim. And people play this a lot. I mean, there are people still to this day posting videos about Skyrim. It's a great game. The graphics are kind of dated on it these days. Even with the remastered version, the graphics are kind of dated, but the game still has a lot of value in play, right? You can easily get as much time out of this game as you put into it, because it's so vast and there's absolutely a bajillion things to do, and you can have fun with it, right? There's lots of different options, and matter of fact, you can probably play through it once or twice as different characters and have different experiences, and it'd be just as fun, which makes this game one of the top RPGs. It's not MMO, you won't have your friends playing, but this is a great first or third person, which is interesting that you can play both, style game that also now has VR and stuff if you wanted to use that. But yeah, it is a great game, a great example of like how games should try to model a single player RPG where interesting things happen that catch the player's attention and grab them and make them want to make videos about it and tell other people what happened, so that other people go out and buy the game. That's the kind of experience you want people to have when you play your game. Another one that's exactly like that, which is a lot of fun. This is a turn-based RPG game based out of Larian Studios off of the Dungeons and Dragons series. And this game is also a lot of fun, where you get to, create your personalized, customized character and bring them into this story world where I guarantee you, if you play the game and then you stop playing the game, create a different character, and play it again, you will not have the same experience. Doesn't matter how badass you are. You will absolutely have a different experience every time you play this game, which makes it a great addition to anybody's MMO or RPG. Because this is, in fact, both. You can have your friends create custom characters and join you in play. I believe up to 4 other people, so it's 5 including you. Or maybe it's 3 and including US4. I forget. But anyways, you can create a personal party, and this game has a lot of fun, a lot of value, a lot of weird twists and turns, a lot of crazy chaotic story stuff, a lot of weird instances that like you can just pass up and not end up seeing, which makes the game replayable and have awesome value. Also, you know, I think it got Game of the Year, and has a lot of interesting aspects, but really great third-person turn-based game. If you've never ever played a turn-based game in your life, if you've never played any Dungeons and Dragons tabletop games where you roll the dice and you come up with an interesting storyline from your head and you have to use your imagination, this is a good place to start. This is probably the best third-person or ARPG turn-based game that I've ever seen. And I've seen a ton of them. There are Warhammer is a turn-based game, and I've been playing that since I was like 16. So this is a awesome place to start. Even if you don't enjoy the idea of Dungeons and Dragons, there are things and aspects in this game where if you hate the game, try to do something to break it and see what happens. It's funny. A lot of value there. Fun game. And I think games should model after that, although I will say this just as a disclaimer. Baldur's Gate 3 had an absolute decade to come up with this game. So games that spend, 6 to 10 years in development are going to be way better than a game that probably has just been ported from another game and then just quickly thrown together to have the atmosphere and have all of the assets put into the game and then be updated over time. I just think those kind of games are not as well thought out and are more of a cash grab. Then you have like single player RPGs, and they're just ridiculously story intensive, constant cutscenes, and it sounds like I'm kind of ragging on them, but no. These games that I've played that are like Red Dead and Jedi Fallen Order, which I'm going to go to Red Dead because this is another one of those games where it's like Skyrim, where you could just play and play and play and play, and you'll never run out of things to do. There's a multiplayer online community that's just huge. They still play this game. They're still coming out with updates for this game. So if you ended up buying this game, you got huge value. There's lots of weird different things that happen in the game. The storyline is amazing. The graphics are amazing. There are a lot of small little details put into the game that make it really worth playing, like the hunting, the specialized items, the crafting. What else is in the game that was a lot of fun? Just the random twists and turns that can happen when you're just riding around enjoying the scenery. Different things you can find, secrets, and little tiny details are what really make these games great. I can say the same though. I was really surprised because I don't like Assassin's Creed style games where you're playing solo and they're just really trying to make the environment look great. But I will say the very beginning of this Jedi Fallen Order game, when you're in the first shipyard and they're like showing the size, like right there, where they're showing like the size of the ships and you're like walking along the engines and stuff, really looked amazing, and I was surprised that it looked that good. But there were a lot of parts of the game where I can tell they kind of didn't want to do as graphic intensive, so they made it just kind of dark. And that, I get the scenery they're trying to play on, but it was so dark like you couldn't see any of the cool things that they had built in the area. Like they wanted you to be able to like turn your lightsaber on and like have this space clear out with glow and like, yeah, that's cool, but also too, like with some of these scenes, I'm sure like these animators put in a lot of effort into making sure the sides look cool of the walls and like really grungy, and I missed out on a lot of that because I'm just focusing on where the light area is in the darkness and not like the whole game. And I could probably blast the darkness all the way up, but then you lose some of the other nostalgia parts, like turning on the lightsaber and like fucking lights up that you're playing in your dark room in the middle of the night and you get this cool glow. And of course I'm a big Star Wars fan, so it's just another one of those games that just kind of like hits it. What's up, Tops? Talking about games today, man. Talking about games today. So RTS games, there aren't a lot of RTS games really winning these days. I'll tell you that. Company Heroes 3 just came out, and it was a huge crash. A lot of people were really looking forward to Company Heroes 3. And I feel like they really could have done more with it. I feel like any of these RTS games could have really done more, but there's just not a big enough audience to drive those funds to building those games, right? Like you had StarCraft and you had the old school style Warcraft, and those games were really popular RTS games at the time, less graphic intensive. And I really thought they like minimized things, right? Like you had like 3 or 4 teams that you can play, and like there really wasn't a lot of, I don't know, like you could only play the same kind of game so many times. And I say that, but then I think about like the MOBAs where people are literally playing the same map every single game with just 40 characters to choose from and like different combinations. So like in an RTS, I think that's really what you need to bring to the table to like kind of be making it nowadays, is you need to give people this variety that they need to feel. If you're going to have the same 5 maps that you're going to play on, or you're going to be able to make custom maps, like you're still going to have to be able to have these variety of these, like just tons of different teams and tons of different loadouts and tons of different things. But yeah, so I have some games here and some games on Blizzard and some games on Epic, and so I got games across the board. These games that are in Steam are not my only games, by the way. So we can have a look right now. All of these games on the screen are not even all of my games. So right here we have, what is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have a row of 8 by 9. So if you think about 8 by 9, that's 72 games. This isn't full, but trust me, this row will be full by the end of the day. And that's kind of why I'm not playing games right now. So one, I'm still downloading games. I got this game right now downloading. And I don't want to slow down my downloads. But yeah, so that's how I've pretty much put my collection together, is just figuring it. Another thing is, like, you don't know if you're gonna like a certain genre until you play it. A lot of people will be like, I know that I don't like that. And there have been games that really surprised me, that I gave a chance to play, that I knew I wouldn't like in the beginning, right? But let them go on sale on Steam, or let them go on sale on Epic, or I got a games credit for, or blah, blah, blah. And I really went back and was like, okay, well, let me give this game a shot, right? Some of those games, let's see, what were some of those games that I gave a shot to after a long time that were really fun? Honestly, I never really liked Elder Scrolls, but then I tried it and it was pretty good. It was really cheap. I got it for free. What else? What else did we play that was free? It was a lot of fun. Chivalry is a very fun game that we got for free from Amazon Prime. I haven't really tried this game yet. Farlight 84 was a lot of fun. Like, people who like Apex and like Battle Royale style games. This one almost had like a Titanfall 2 vibe to it, where like you got vehicles and the vehicles did different things. Like became turrets, or were like a fast way across the map, or used rockets, or had laser beams, or, you know, it's just a really interesting, and it's mobile as well. So Farlight 84 was like a fun one that was free. What else is free that I kind of gave a shot? I didn't know about Mount and Blade Bannerlord. It was on sale. I think I got it for like $14. The original price was $60 or $70 online. I saw some videos of some people playing the multiplayer. I didn't play the multiplayer. I only played the single player because I just was like, man, I don't want to get him mixed up with something that I don't even know how to play it yet. But it's a really interesting, I won't say RTS, but it's kind of close to an RTS style game. What category could I put that in, to be honest? It's a settlement style game, like a Civilization, or I won't say like SimCity, because SimCity is like in a whole different ball game. Man, I don't know. I guess that's the only way I can put it. Is like it's kind of RTS, kind of Civilization kind of game where like you create armies and they go and fight. But there are some small aspects to it where it's kind of different than other games. It's goes into a third person view, and you can do like arenas with different settlements, and like if you win you get special weapons and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I just wanted to sit for a little bit. It's been almost 2 hours now, right? No, it's been an hour. And talk about some of the games that I had, see if anybody had any questions. But of course, I don't have too many viewers. But it's good to make a video and just show people what I have. If anyone sees the video or is online and sees and is interested in, chatting about games or whatever, or added me on Steam or Epic or whatever to play some games, I'm definitely down. Although I will say that I normally don't play with other people on stream unless it's Albion, which I didn't really go into Albion. I've been playing a lot of Albion lately. Most people probably wouldn't like it. I chose it as the game that I stream the most at the moment because of a couple different reasons. And we'll go into this. This is more of like a streaming topic than it is a games curation topic. But there's a few things that you really want out of a game that you're going to stream. One is you want there to be benefits to someone watching, whether that be information, whether that be Twitch drops, whether that be like them being able to play with you, like interested in joining you and playing the game. The other thing is you have to have enough things for there to do to be interesting on stream, such as like farming, raids, PvP, open world gathering, static dungeons, corrupted dungeons, which is like another aspect of PvP. So for me, Albion had like a mix of all those things, and in an accessibility way that other people could get into, right? Like you can have it on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptop, on your computer. Whereas everyone is not going to be able to have Fortnite. Not everyone's going to be able to have Call of Duty Warzone. Not everyone's going to be able to. But if you have a phone, you can play Albion. So to me, it was just bringing that accessibility into play. And then also too, like if you have Twitch Prime, you can get drops. So every day you can get something for watching. You're not just watching for no reason. You're not watching to provide me with money. You're not watching for any other thing, but like maybe you enjoy the content. Maybe you're trying to get information, or maybe you're just getting a Twitch drop. But either way, there's a couple different reasons why you could be there, or you could be there for all of them. So that's something to keep in mind when like streaming. The other part is like how to be interesting. Like especially if you're trying to make money or build views. I'm going to say something that's probably very controversial here, but I don't really care. If you're trying to make money, I almost think it's completely okay, because it's not outside the terms of service, to view bot. Put your link on your own website and repeat that link as many times as you can, so that way you look like you have somewhere near the top amount of views, so that people are joining you. Because I feel like the streamers that are at the top of the views right now gatekeep. And I feel like the companies that are sponsoring them gatekeep by making the algorithm show you those specific videos only on a regular basis, and making those the only suggested videos. And people are not able to get in. And so if you can be interesting, if you can bring something to the community of games that you're playing, I am 100% okay with people view botting, because there are really good content creators that are out there really trying to branch into it who just can't, because the person at the top of the list is getting, the first three people at the top of the list are all gatekeeping together in their little group, and they don't raid other people to give them an opportunity to be seen. They don't shout out other content creators at the bottom of the list. They don't they're not forging and I'm not saying everybody has to, right? That's not what I'm saying here, but they're not forging a pathway to make it easy for other people to join in with them, right? Like, not everybody is a Sketch, not everybody is a Jinxie and has like this personality that people find interesting, and then they would just want to boost them up. And there are like crappy things that happen in the community that like get people X'd out. Like, I don't want to begin to talk about some of the people who play first-person shooter games who are no longer on the Twitch platform. I'll just say it like that. But probably got gatekeeped by some people, where they were doing good and had good money and were getting good sponsors and were doing good things, and then someone got offended by something they said and pushed them out of the industry, essentially, or pushed them off the platform at least. I'll definitely be the first one to say, like, I don't care. I lost my first platform at 7,800 subs, so like coming here and being on this platform for, I don't know, almost a year now, and having only one view regularly, like, doesn't bother me at all. Some people would be like, I'm done with this, it's over with, I'm only getting one view, I'm just not going to stream, I'm just going to enjoy my gaming, which is cool. I agree with that. But I feel like they cut themselves short if this is really what they're interested in, because they have to realize, like, everything is being gate kept pretty hardcore. And like, it's so hard to talk about this subject without calling people out, right? Because if I call them out, they're absolutely, if they find out like that I'm calling them out, they're gonna be like, "Why'd you do that?" Or like, "Oh yeah, maybe you're a little bit right, but you shouldn't say that," you know, whatever. But yeah, there are entire organizations created, right? I think Albion has their little creator program, and Starforge PCs has their own program. I think most of those kids come out of OTK. There's a lot going on in the platform, and I think you see it with Kick too, where like there's a lot of like Kick drama around people getting kicked out and people's heads getting too big because they started making money because they were on Kick a lot and all their promotions and blah blah blah, and getting kicked off and not being paid or whatever. And yeah, so it's a grimy world, and these people realize that it's their income that's on the line, and they want to build their brand, is what they like to call it. So it is what it is. But also too, like, other content creators and streamers can see exactly what's going on. Maybe not to the fullest extent. It could be actually even worse than I think, which sucks, but it could be a lot worse. But I'm glad that people are still given the opportunity, right? You're not completely locked out. You just kind of have to find your niche. You have to take advantage of all your marketable assets, which means making YouTube clips, which means making TikTok clips, which means posting them to your social medias, your Instagram, your Facebook, linking your Discord channels, getting people involved, talking to other users, going into other people's channels, saying hi, subbing. So you have to like put a good amount of effort and money into getting into the communities in which games you play, which can be difficult if you're like a multi-streamer like me, where like you can see I have this wide variety of games here, where like which community of gamer do I pick? So I just pick none. I just play it solo. But I do have my certain few gamer people that I end up playing with from each different community. and I try not to feel entitled to take their attention away from their viewers and what they're trying to accomplish in their streams. And also too, like, the whole point of this is to have fun. Like, I didn't spend, like, I could, you know, these games, the ones I paid for, are quite a little investment. And if I didn't have fun spending that money, then I shouldn't be doing this. You know? That's my biggest thing. So, with that being said, I think I'm just about done talking about curating a game collection. It is huge. I don't know how to put it on my screen. I just have them all jumbled here and just hope that I'll just jump in here and just choose a collection. Just be like, I want to play Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. If I spun a wheel, I would probably get a bad collection. Let me see. Where's the wheel? Spin the wheel. Let's see, what should I put? What else do we have? We need more. There we go. We kind of have a full list now. Oh, I didn't put flight sims. Or MOBA. There, now we have a random list. To me, it's like I always feel like I should play a game that I haven't played yet. So if I go to my home and I go down here to this bottom, there are this little chunk of games right here. This little chunk. I've actually played quite a bit of Smite. I just don't think I've played it on Steam. There are also other games that I've been thinking about getting, like, why did I put that? Is League of Legends even on here? Oh, they have their own proprietary downloader. What about Dota? A lot of people still play Dota. It's crazy how many people play, but you know, Dota as a mobile. There's been 2 million reviews. Crazy to have 2 million reviews. Wobbuffet in chat. Do I really have to log in for this? I do. What are you doing? Puppy dog. Sorry, I have to grab something out of my email so I can't show my screen. Sheesh. Sheesh. Why is it sending all of these to spam now? I don't get it. Oh, I'm in the wrong email. I was like, where's my code? There, now I can talk in my own chat. Jesus. Alright, back to what I was doing. This still isn't. Oh, it is finished downloading. Maybe I'll just add it. Add. How do I... Performance window. Stream schedule. That's the only thing that is bugging me about how this editor works for Streamlabs is I can't play a game or switch what I'm on directly from here. And I don't like that. Ay. Why did I just double my screen? Don't double my screen. Well, I think that's going to be it for me for now anyways. I'm sure Space, you're the only viewer in here. Or maybe not, but... I appreciate everybody stopping in. I'll probably post this on YouTube here in a bit. But yeah, I'm going to take a break. I think the fights are going to come on. I want to watch some UFC, so... maybe I'll come back and play some games after the fights. Maybe I'll play Dungeon Fighter. We'll see. Alright, have a good one. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Teresa, Tops, Space. I appreciate you guys stopping by and just chatting, saying hey, what's up. It's always good for the